Hello and welcome to this focused practical task. I'm going to be running through some various features of Fusion. We're going to be making this cactus holder here that you can see on screen. Don't worry, you don't have to make it as bright and colourful as mine. Just wanted to show you the different parts. So we've got four walls that go around the outside. There's a base and there's also a little shelf on the inside, and we've also got a logo cut out of the front. So let's get started. So this cactus holder is 100mm by 100mm by 100mm, and that's the outside dimensions for this. So we're going to open a new document and we're going to start by creating a sketch, and we're going to create this sketch on the bottom plane here. This is because we want all of our sketches to be on the one plane, so the whole thing's going to be drawn just on the one surface. That way we'd be able to export that file and cut it out. So I'm going to press there. Now, as I said, it's 100mm by 100mm. So I'm going to use this rectangle tool here. I'm going to snap it onto the middle point here and drag this out. In order for me to get the dimensions in, you can see it's highlighting that 52.031 there, blue. So I'm just going to type in 100. To swap across to the other box, I can't go down and click on it. It will sort of run away. What I actually do is press the Tab key. That's underneath the Escape key on the top left-hand corner of your keyboard. By pressing the Tab key, it will jump across, and I can type in 100, and then I can press Return, and that will give me my 100 by 100mm box. Next, I'm going to make the sides, the front and the back. So I'm just going to use the 2-point rectangle to come off of the side here a little bit, and I don't know if you saw that, but I actually drag away from this corner here and I get a blue dotted line come up, and I can do that from the top as well, and you can see that blue dotted line coming up. What that enables me to do is make sure that this rectangle is lined up with this rectangle. So I'm going to come down from there, and you can see if I pull all the way down to the bottom, it actually snaps, and I get that choice of just snapping that to 100. So I'm going to press Tab, and I'm going to set the other one to 100, and then that one's now 100 by 100 as well. Now I want this to be a set distance apart. I don't want them to just be randomly floating. We don't want too much space, because when we cut this out, any material left in between is going to be wasted. So to minimize on the wastage, we're going to move these really nice and close together, and we're going to have them 5mm apart. Any smaller than 5mm, when we laser cut this, sometimes there can be issues in twisting and these bits can rise up, so no smaller than 5mm. I'm going to rinse and repeat this for the top and the sides here. So again, using the rectangle tool, lining it up, pulling it out, and I can draw all the way over here, it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to go 100, Tab, 100, hit Return, and then I'm going to use this Sketch Dimension tool again. By selecting here and here, Fusion is saying that this is 149mm apart, and I'm going to say to Fusion, no, I actually want that to be 5mm, and it will pull that back across and over to here. Now, something to be aware of is sometimes when you do these sketch dimension tools, it can change things that you've drawn. So if you've drawn a rectangle, and if we hadn't have selected 100 by 100, if we'd have just put a random size in here, sometimes what can happen is when we move this and this, and we say no, I want that to be 5, instead of moving this whole square or rectangle, it will stretch the rectangle. It might do it now, it might not. No, it's going to move the whole thing. But sometimes it will stretch and manipulate what you've drawn slightly, so you have to be a little bit careful and just keep an eye on that when you're moving them. Next, I'm going to want to do the one above. So again, I'm just going to line up with this. I'm going to come up a little ways, and I'm just going to type in 100, Tab, 100. Then I'm going to use that Sketch Dimension tool again. Now I'm going to say this line and this line, I want you to be 5mm apart. I'm just going to type in 5 and I'll move it down. And last time, rinse and repeat for the bottom one. Come down from here, click, drag this out, 100, Tab, 100. Hit the Return key, and we're going to move this and this to be together. So 5mm apart, and there we go. Now at this point here you might think, well, this is easy. We've got all of our sides that we need. This is going to make a nice box where it needs to be 100 by 100 by 100, so this will work perfectly. If we finish that drawing by clicking Finish Sketch and I press to extrude, I can then extrude all of these surfaces, and I want the thickness to be 5mm. And what you can see is that makes these 5mm thick, and I can press OK. These will then appear in this drop down menu, and I can hover over them, and you can see that they light up as I hover over. So for the first one, I'm going to double click, and I'm going to rename this one Base. This one here is on the left, so I'm going to go capital L and then call it Side for left side. This one here, capital R and Side. And the reason I do that is because if you type out left side, these names start to get very long and sometimes they get clipped. So sometimes you need to abbreviate some of these names just so they completely fit. This one is going to be the back, and this one is going to be my front. Also, when you're doing this, just make sure that this cube here is saying front at the front, so this one will be the front. Sometimes you can come out and it will be around this way, which will obviously look exactly the same, but the right is facing the front at the moment, so make sure that that cube in the top corner there, called the orbit cube, is facing the right way. With these all set now, I just need to put this box together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these different surfaces, different bodies. So we'll start with the front one. I'm going to, with the selected, I'm going to press the M key on my keyboard, and this brings up the move options. And what I want to do is I want to rotate this up. So I'm going to go to this first one here, and I'm going to use this circle here. Now sometimes these circles can be a little bit confusing which one you need. When you hover over them you get the circle, and sometimes if you view it from the side it helps to visualize it. Obviously this needs to go up 90 degrees. Next I need to place this on top of here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a point to point move. So I'm going to select here for point to point, and I'm going to say this point here should be sat here right on the edge of this other one. So I'm going to move that in like that. And you can hopefully see that we've already got an issue, because we now have the front and the back, both the front and the base, both taking up the same space. They are both in this corner piece here. Both of those pieces are now residing in the same place, and that's not going to work. Now if I place this square on top of here, which I can easily do, I'm just going to use this one, and I'm just going to move it 5mm up, then yeah, it's going to work. But now when I move the right side on, remember we want to rotate it with the wheel, and then I'm going to do point to point, and obviously this one is there, but it can't reside inside, so we better move it up. And I can move this one up 5mm, but now both of these are both inside each other. So which one do I move? And whichever one I move, it's going to end up sticking out. If I move the right one, it's going to stick out here. If I move the front one, it's going to stick out there. And on top of that, this is no longer a 100mm by 100mm box. If I go to the inspect button here, which allows me to measure, and I measure from this top corner to this bottom corner, it's 105 because it's gone the thickness of this. So we already have an issue here, and we need to be mindful that when we make something, how it fits together. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating these castle joints where one slots inside the other. So I'm just going to use the back button to go back, and I'm actually going to leave these extruded. It's okay that they're extruded. I'm just going to go back to the sketch down here, and I'm going to right click on this and press edit sketch. Now my other option would be to hit this drop down arrow here, and I could also make that visible again using the eye, and I can right click on here and click Edit Sketch. This takes me back into that sketch I had before. And what we're going to need to do is add the castle joints around the bottom here and onto the bottoms of these squares. So at this point here in the video, what I'd like to ask you to do is to take a screenshot, go all the way from the top left hand corner all the way to the bottom right hand corner, and take a full screenshot of everything on your screen. Alright, don't leave anything out, take a screenshot of absolutely everything please. And I'll see you for the next video.